or the terrifying tiger? No one knows, but it's easy enough to find out. Simple but lekker. It's the game of choice. Watch us play Dragon Tiger on Super TV channel 150 on OpenView or SMS Super TV to 30978 and play it yourself.
Hello and welcome to Mo Sports. My name is Mo and this is Mr. OB knows himself. And today we are talking all things football. If you see us in these shirts, you know that it is a day of rest. It is a day to chillax. It is a day to look back and reflect on the results that happened around world football. But let me not waste your time. Let me remind you where to find us now. If you're tuning in through your open view decoder, this is channel 150. It's Super TV powered by Super Bets. But if you're tuning in on your device, maybe a tablet, a laptop, or a cell phone, you're definitely watching us through Facebook or on YouTube. It's as easy as going on those platforms if you didn't know and just searching for Super TV, streaming us on those platforms. Now, today's Mo riddle is one that I believe a lot of people are going to answer, but I'm going to double whammy it today. Today, the riddle reads as follows. It says, I made 453 appearances for Bayern Munich. In that time, I managed to score 398 goals, while setting the record for the most goals scored in one league season. I know I wrote it some other way there. I won the World Cup. I won the World Cup and the European Championship with West Germany. Who am I? Now, there's a player that everybody should know about at this point in time because, like Obino said, he does share celebration with Robert Lewandowski, and not only that, they share a little bit of history as well. But let's carry on with the show. Obinos, how are you doing?
Well, thanks yourself, Mo.
I'm good. What should the people expect on today's show?
Well, on today's show, we're looking forward to talking about what's been going on in the ABC Motsepe League. Of course, now it is confirmed who will be going to the NFD. So we'll be talking a little bit about that. We'll also be taking a look at what happened last night in the Euros. I mean, a lot of entertainment has been going on in terms of the Euros. So we'll be talking a little bit about that a bit later on in the show. And let's kick it off, of course, talking about the ABC Motsepe League. Two teams have been confirmed. I mean, me and Mo did talk about it the other day. We did say that Hungry Lions from the Northern Cape province and Platinum City Rovers, who are coming from the Northwest, have been promoted into the NFD. Now, the game that they had to play yesterday was to confirm who would be the national champion of the ABC Motsepe League. Now, if you don't know how the ABC Motsepe League works, is that in every province, there are teams that compete in the ABC Motsepe League. So once all of that is concluded, once the top two teams have been concluded at the top, they come together and they play a playoff type of a tournament. And the winner of the playoffs, of course, wins a prize money of 1,200,000.
Okay, hold on. Before you become a meme. 1.2 million rand.
Just 1.2.
Yeah, you know, go 1,250,000 rand.
No, that's not the full amount.
Yeah, but it's 1,250,000 rand for those of you who are struggling with 1,250,000 and 67 cents. I feel like, if I made this prize money, I would add the 67 cents just to confuse you even more.
Why?
Just because, imagine having to say 1.25 50 million,
you think
thousand.
It's likes playing with people's emotions.
You guys better pray I don't get to that level, because if I start making prize money, there'll always be a 67 cents in there. Just to taxi match you a little bit.
I hear you. Well, one of the players, notable players in this team, or in this tournament rather, was the top goal scorer of Vuyisile Wana, who is a former Santos player, played for Bloemfontein Celtic, played for Morocco Swallows as well. It's a player that was spoken about quite a lot a couple of years back in the PSL, but he's had a fall from grace in the past few years. So it was very interesting to see him back playing football, and also playing it at such a lower level. It just shows you the love of the game that he has. He's not giving up on his dream of playing at the biggest stage of, South African football. And it's very good to see that people can actually continue with their dreams despite them being dashed in the previous years. They're trying again to go for it. So it was very nice to see Vuyisile Wana getting the top goal scorer with only 3 goals, of course, for the playoffs. So I had to just make a mention of Vuyisile Wana there.
All right, let's go on and let's talk about the Olympic squad, the under-23 Olympic squad. They'll be featuring in the tournament this year, basically 2021. Now everything is still 2020, but in 2021, let's see the squad. Let's see who makes it in there. I'm quite eager to see who actually makes it in there and who comes back from abroad to come play for South Africa. Kobe knows you have the names. You give us some of the names that are coming into that squad.
Well, the goalkeepers, of course, is my main part, and I did make mention that some of these players that are in there. I mean, more especially the goalkeepers are goalkeepers who are not first choice goalkeepers, but the goalkeeper who might just be starting is Mulungwana, who is the first choice goalkeeper for a Golden Arrow. So I think he might be the starter in there. Mondli Mpoto is also a player who's in there as well in the squad. And for me, these two goalkeepers, Mondli should have already blew up in a very long time ago. I mean, I think it was about 26 years old now. He's about 26 years of age. I think he should have played a lot more in terms of professional football by now. But unfortunate, of course, you know how it is in South African football. You only get your chance when you're like 27. So hopefully he'll be making big chances of that as well. I'm pretty sure you have some of the names as well in there.
Yes, I do. Talking about the strikers, because that's my department, according to OB.KNOWS. We're talking about the Portuguese duo that are coming back. We talk about Luther Singh, who I was playing indoor soccer the other day, and Lyle Foster. I wasn't playing with them. I was playing this side, he was playing that side. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's like, you bump into a celebrity at Pick and Pay and you're paying for your meal, and he's on the other line. You guys were on the same line.
Well,
yeah.
So you played with who?
I'm kidding. I'm playing like, but he was there. We played the same indoor football thing. But it's Luther Singh, Lyle Foster, and Friggy Lekay, Evidence Mahopa. OB.KNOWS will be very happy about that one. I mean, it sounds like a good crop of strikers that they have there.
It's a very brilliant crop of strikers. I mean, you're mentioning Friggy Lekay. They're one of the players that have been coming out of. He actually came out of the Supa Sports United Academy, and since obviously joining Cape Town City, he's managed to get a lot of game time this past season in the PSL, and he's proved his worth. I mean, he's one of the best wingers we have in the country. A very troublesome front player. He can give defenders a lot of massive headaches. And I think he's done very well this season. So for him to be mentioned in the squad going to the Olympics, I think it's big for his career as well. And especially with the season he's just had, I'm anticipating quite a lot more from him coming next season.
All right, let's go to the website and see who they play in the Olympic Games. Now, all we need to do before we go to the website is SMS Supa TV to 30978. And once we've done so, then we can definitely go on the website. Whether we're using a tablet or a cell phone, it's available on all platforms. OB.KNOWS, take me to it. Let's go see it. Once we arrive there, first thing we'll do is that we're going to go to register, log in first. We have to log in first. Everyone look at me like he's gonna forget it. I got it. Let's log in. OB.KNOWS, let's go with ETV2. Let's log in there. Perfect. Now let's go to match info. Let's go to statistics. Ooh, that word in the beginning. When you're nervous and you try to say statistics, hey, too much, soccer. And then let's scroll down. We're going to find internationals. We're going to go to the Olympics. Let's find Olympics. There you can see AFC there, Olympic Games, Olympic Games women. We'll go to Olympic Games. When we arrive there, that is the group of South Africa. We'll say the group of death, but as you can see, they play Japan, Mexico, and France in Group A. It's going to be a very interesting group for them, especially when you look at the other groups. So we're going to scroll down and see who else is featured in this Olympic Games. As you can see, Honduras, Korea Republic, we have New Zealand in there, we have Romania also in there, we have Argentina, Australia, Egypt, and Spain in Group C. We have Brazil, Germany, Ivory Coast, and Saudi Arabia in this one as well. Let's go into the Brazil one. I just want to see if they can give us the squads and see who has been selected to go to these tournaments. So at this moment in time, last matches. So this is how the future of Brazil looks at the moment. As you can see, we're just trying to see if we know any names that are very prominent right now in world football. But as you can see, there's Dodo in there, there's Bambu, there's Nino, there's Iago. You know what I'm saying? There's Igor Gomez, there's Enrique Casio, it's Pedrinho.
I think you might know this guy, Matias Cunha.
Cunha is also in there. Pep, we're not saying Pep anymore, it's Pep. There's Paulinho as well, there's Anthony Santos, there's Bruno Tabata. I mean, it's a group crop. We'll have to wait and see if these players actually live up to the Brazilian name that they're representing. But let's put the website away, OB.KNOWS. That's how I was looking for them. But OB.KNOWS, let's talk about this man who's making a move. Who am I talking about?
You're talking about Tandani Nchumayelo.
Talk to me about this man.
Tandani Nchumayelo, well, it's a very touching story when you're talking about Tandani Nchumayelo. Bibo is what he was known by, back in the days. And I think he made a name for himself while playing for Supa Sports United during that time when Supa Sport won the treble, the league treble. And that's him right there. And as you can see, Swallows offer him a lifeline. Yes, they did indeed. And you have to go back to around December of last year, and he had an interview with South African sportscaster Robert Marawa, and they spoke about his ban. He was banned for 4 years for the usage of substance, and they found cocaine in his blood, and they banned him for 4 years, but he then appealed for it, and they gave him a 2-year ban. And by the time when he went to speak, when he was interviewed by Mr. Marawa, he did make mention that he's been trying to get his life back in order. He's been trying to, get back onto the field. He had been given a chance he had already trialed with Super Sport United. And just as they were about to offer him a contract, he then got an injury which lasted him for about 6 months. So they obviously, couldn't sign him.
Yeah.
And he made a move. He made a move when he came back. He tried to get himself back in, and he went to Baroka. Baroka actually signed him for about 4 months. He played a couple of games. I did think he played against the Mamelodi Sundowns, and he actually said that was one of his worst games in his whole career because he could see how far off he was from who he used to be. And of course, after the 4 months elapsed, he was back at home again on the couch, and this was when he did the interview. And after the interview, he actually got a call from one of our favorite coaches here, Mr. Brandon Truter from Swallows, and he offered him a lifeline. He told him, "Come train with us. Let's see how we can help you out." Of course, he had to lose quite a lot of weight. He was a player who had a big body either way, but for not playing in a very long time, unfit still, he had a lot of weight to shed. He did that. He did all of that, and eventually, just this past week, we heard from David Mogasha saying this, the chairman of Swallows FC, saying that they've given him a 1-year contract to just give him the extra push to say, "You've done so well thus far. Let's see what else you can do. Can you elevate your game one more time and give us that Dandani Jumelo we used to know?" So I think it's a brilliant story to talk about in South African football. Not a lot of second chances are given to a lot of players, and I'm very glad to see that.
One here.
Yeah, Swallows are doing what they do best. Giving some of these veteran players a chance. I mean, we've seen the likes of Cheese Boy Mukwena in this team, Buvuyo Miri in this team, players that have won the bewilderness over the years, but they are back in the PSL, all because of Swallows and all because of hard work. So I'm very happy to see Dandani Jumelo getting his life back in order again.
All right, let's go to Egypt and find out what the stories are in Egyptian football at the moment. Let's take it right there. Welcome back to the show. Let's talk about what's happening in Egyptian football. I hear there's a contract that has been given out to a coach.
Yeah, that's not Egyptian football. That is Moroccan football, right? We're talking about Florent Ibenge. This is a coach who's been sought out after by Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs over the years. Congolese coach, used to coach AS Vita, and a very successful stint. He had about 9 years coaching the team.
Yes.
And at the same time, he did what I thought Paddy McCarthy would maybe do, coach both Bafana Bafana and Amazulu at the same time.
Yeah, just do both the jobs.
And he did it. He did it very well. He did it very well with the DRC. Picked up quite a lot of trophies. I think he picked up 2 league titles in his stint at AS Vita, and other trophies around there as well. So he's a very, very well-respected coach, and he's making a move to RS Bakan, the team that we were talking about not too long ago. They were playing in the CAF Super Cup along with Al Ahly, and the Bakan are currently sitting the 11th spot in Botola. That's the league in Morocco. They're currently sitting 11th. So they are a team that are trying to rekindle some glory, if you ask me. I mean, of course, last season, they outdid themselves, finishing in 3rd place to be able to earn a spot in the CAF Confed. So I do think that this move is brilliant for him. I mean, it's his first big African contract. I mean, I did read that he might be earning about $1.9 million in a year. So it's a very big contract for an African coach. Another African coach that we've been talking about is Pito Musimani. He's been a role model to some of these coaches. Ibenge actually coming out to say that is, he's inspiring me, and it's very good to see that African coaches are moving into this thing of being trusted. Because it's very hard. We've been saying it in South African football that look at the local coaches here. I mean, you fetching coaches from Europe, and it's very good to see that the big clubs around Africa are starting to call in the African coaches and let's coach, let's go. And I think it's brilliant to see. It's unlike back in the days when the Sundowns are calling all these international coaches who can try and get us a league title. Let's go with what we know best, the African continent. We've got some coaches, and I'm very good to see Benge making that move.
All right, that's some really great news before we take a break. So let's take a break. When we come back, we're talking all things Euro 2020.
Take it slow.
You are watching Supa TV, Open View, channel 150.
Hello and welcome back to Mo Sports. It's time for us to talk about Euro 2020 and you see the smiles come on. We are glad to see you back here with us here at Mo Sports. Now let me give you the Mo riddle before I waste your time and talk about European football. I mean, you're not here to hear about the Euro 2020. You're here to answer the Mo riddle. So let me give it to you. Let's see what it says. It talks about a legendary player who played for Bayern Munich over 400 times, scoring over 300 goals in his stint. I mean, 398 goals to be specific. My question is, why couldn't he score those last 2 goals? But let's move on from that. And basically, he went on to win the World Cup and he won the European Championship with West Germany. If you know who he is, the number is 071-621-4746. Make sure you go on your phone, log that in, and save that number, and then you can send us the answer via WhatsApp. In addition, don't forget to SMS Supa TV to 30978. Now we're talking all things Euro 2020. At this point in time, it's an odd tournament. It's not something we expected to see. It's not something we're expecting to. No one in their wildest dreams would have thought that the Euro 2020 would have played out like this. Maybe it being delayed by a year changed the whole dynamic of the tournament, because all those teams that were Nation Leagues fresh, I mean, Nation League was taking place in 2019, all those teams that are coming from the Nations League going into the Euro 2020, they could have came in there with some great form, but that disruption made sure that everybody was on level playground, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. So Czech Republic knocked out by Denmark at this point in time. Josef Poulsen coming to that party so well. I mean, it's crazy how Josef Poulsen was on form yesterday. But let's talk about this game of, Patrick Schick versus Josef Poulsen. Those are the big names that are considered to be big names in this game. But you have some history and some facts about Denmark that you'd like to share.
Yeah, Denmark, of course, the question is now, where are they from? Who are they? No one really expected Denmark. At the beginning of this tournament, you did not say that, no, Denmark, definitely. No.
They have Eriksen, they
Let
have
us
Poulsen,
stages.
they have Braithwaite.
That's a lie. It's a lie. No one thought that, So I thought, if anything, let's shed some light on who Denmark is and where they're coming from. And their golden era was between 1992 and 1995. That's when they picked up 2 major trophies. They picked up the Euro, and in doing so, they also managed to pick up the FIFA Confederations Cup in 1995 in France. In 1992, that's when they won the Euro. And the squad that they had at that time, they had the likes of Kasper Schmeichel in goals. I mean, not Kasper, but Peter Schmeichel rather in goals, and that is the most capped player for that national team as well. They had the Laudrup brothers in there as well. Brian and Michael Laudrup were part of that team as well. So it's a team that had some quality players at that time. But if you look at the all-round squad between then and now, you will see that they have a lot more of pretty much a lot more talent than they did then. I mean, you could name a couple of players then, but right now I think, like I said yesterday, you're looking at this squad, and most of these squad players are players that are playing in the EPL week in and week out. And that obviously does tell you that they're probably well-renowned across the world, So looking at this Denmark squad, the question, of course, now is how far could they go? How far could they go in this tournament? And I think if history has anything to do with it, they are sitting in a very good spot to be able to, make history count for them. But we are looking at, their opponents, of course. It's a tough one. England, a very tough team. But we know an England team that is used to, slipping at the last stages, and against small teams as well, So it could be history setting itself out one more time. But I do think that if history is going to set itself, they still need to get through the likes of England. They still need to get through the likes of Italy or Spain. So it's a very tough one to say that they will make themselves champions out of this tournament.
Speaking of England, they made quick work of the Ukraine when they won 4-0. Now, don't let the result fool you. It was 1-0 at halftime, and just after halftime, England scored 2 goals in quick succession to make it 3-0 before John Henderson came from the bench to make it 4-0. What a game it was for England. I mean, they started to believe. I mean, for the first time in our lifetimes, we've ever seen England start to believe that they can actually go on and win this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, at 1-0, they still looked skeptical. At 2-0, they looked a little bit happy. At 3-0, these players were out of their chairs. I mean, even the coach himself was talking about maybe we should rest Harry Kane now. Maybe we should pull Sterling off. Maybe we should take out Declan Rice. And I gotta say, look, the combination of Rice and Phillips is not celebrated enough in this team. I mean, well, look at the English history. I mean, you're talking about a team that had the likes of Paul Scholes, the likes of Steven Gerrard, the Lampard, Beckham in that midfield, and they couldn't do anything with the side. And you're looking at after that, they had that generation with your Hendersons, and Henderson was a mainstay. If it wasn't for that injury, he would still be a mainstay in that midfield. But Kevin Phillips and Declan Rice, 2 players that are not celebrated, 2 players that are not even, I mean, when Drinkwater was on the side, he was more celebrated than Rice and, you know what I'm saying, and Kevin Phillips. He was. I mean, it was like, he was the Drinkwater of he won the championship with Leicester City.
Yeah.
You know, but thinking about it, these 2 players are, they dare I say, they're not big names. They're in that midfield. They're doing the job. And for me, they give England the stability. Because yesterday, England were able to put 5 players against the defense of the Ukraine. They were able to put 5 players there knowing that they're safe at the back.
Safe, yeah. You know, if you ask Chelsea fans, they'll tell you something different about Declan Rice. They'll tell you, oh, this is Jesus. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Declan Rice is a player who's... He was coming from the Chelsea Academy. Of course, Chelsea let him go and he joined West Ham United. And he's made a name for himself ever since. I mean, there was a point of time he was wearing the biggest number, number 47 or something like that. And we didn't even know this Declan Rice guy, but he was making such a big impression in the defensive side of the game. When he was a centre back when we first came across him. And one thing that made him stand out as a centre back was his good passing skills. And I guess that was the reason why he was loitered into the midfield, you know. So ever since then, he's not looked back. And I think he's done pretty well for himself in that midfield, along with Calvin Phillips. And Calvin Phillips, we've been saying, he's your engine. He's your box-to-box player. He will get up top. He will come back and defend for you. And one thing that he's done well for England this time around is to be able to play and mature in a double pivot, because he's not used to that. That's not what he does at club level. He plays alone in the midfield usually. But this time around, he's managed to have a good partnership with Declan Rice. And I think that is a very, very important part of that English midfield.
Now, yesterday there was the emphasis on the letter H. Harry Maguire, Harry Kane, and Henderson. Those are the 3 goal scorers for England. But let's talk about Harry Kane. Harry Kane now scoring the 6th goal in the Euros. That takes up his tally to 6 overall.
It takes his tally up to 9 right now.
9
So
overall,
it's very good. It's very good for Harry Kane. I mean, I'm impressed to see what he has done. With England. I mean, we did say at the beginning of the tournament that in the first 2 games he wasn't doing all too great. You know, he wasn't doing all too great. And
who is this?
That's Gary Lineker.
Gary Lineker has 10 goals
in major competitions.
Yeah. In
major competitions, all in all, yes. So both World Cup and in the Euros, those are the amount of goals that he has had. At this point, Harry Kane doing very well for himself. I mean, we said at the beginning of the season that at the beginning of the campaign, that he wasn't doing what a striker should do or what Harry Kane should be doing. He was trying to drop very deep and play what he was doing at Tottenham Hotspurs, but not really working out with the national team. Eventually, he got that first goal in the last game, and I think ever since then he's gained a bit more confidence. Yeah. And we saw it yesterday. I mean, taking efforts that looked pretty impossible. I mean, there was a chance that he took with his left foot, was a volley that was saved by the goalkeeper. Could have had a hat trick, but very impressed with the way he has managed to pick himself up in terms of confidence.
All right, and let's talk about Jadon Sancho making an appearance. Finally, after all these chats about Manchester United have been confirmed that he's going there, then he finally gets some game time. So the conspiracy lives true. The whole time we've been waiting to see him go on the pitch was basically because he was not a Manchester United player.
Is that what you said?
Even the background is red, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe there was the emphasis, stop him of the game time.
United first.
Let him join United first. But wow, what an impact this young player had, eh?
Yeah, what an impact it did. I mean, all these other games, England have been failing to score more than 2 goals. And, with this one game when he starts, and they look more, they look like they've got a lot more impetus going forward. I mean, I saw him carrying the ball from one flank to the other, trying to get everybody else to play. He will beat you and he will try to get everyone else to play. And that's one thing that, they've been missing without Jadon Sancho, because everyone, like you've been saying, in the first 2 games when they played Sterling, when they played Phil Foden, one thing they all wanted to do was to go forward and go beyond Harry Kane, and that's not what Jadon Sancho will do for you as a player. I mean, he plays very well in the same formation with Erling Haaland. We always see him driving the ball into the final third and releasing it in just about the right time to get it to Haaland, and that's one thing I'm waiting for him to do. But we saw glimpses of what he can bring to this English national team, and I think it's something they've been missing the entire tournament.
All right, let's go to the website. Let's go see how the the quarterfinals played out. Let's go to it. Let's go see it. When we arrive here, we definitely have to navigate again. So we go to soccer or international, whichever one you'd like to click on. And then once we get there, we're going to say international. We're going to say Euro Cup. That option right there. And then we want to scroll down and then go and see. Yeah, let's go see the fixtures. Fixtures and results, I guess, will give us the best indication of what's been going down. Let's go to quarterfinals and see how everything played out there. So as you can see, Spain, Italy, Denmark, England, all the teams that were potted as the away sides picking up the results. That means Switzerland, Belgium, Czech Republic and the Ukraine falling out at this stage. Belgium, the biggest disappointment yet again. I mean, the golden era, the golden generation fading to live up to their ranking according to FIFA. Let's go to the semi-finals and see who's in there. As you can see, out of all the results, England looking the most convincing with a 4-0 win. Going to the semi-finals, as you can see, Italy are facing Spain, the tie of the round, while England are expected to go past Denmark the same way they went past the Ukraine. But the question is, will Denmark surprise everybody and put England aside? I know England scored 4 goals. I know that they look good in that game. But what are the odds? The semi-finals yet again. They did in the World Cup. They fell short at this stage. The last Euros, Iceland made them fall short again. So the question is, can they get past this Denmark side? Let's put the website away. Let's wrap up this conversation about the quarterfinals. My thoughts about the quarterfinals is this. First of all, Spain was really underrated coming into this tournament. We didn't think they could achieve what they're achieving right now. They didn't have the goals in them, but they managed to score 5 goals in 2 games in a row, which surprised everyone. Italy, a team that nobody actually thought had the depth or the squad to go into the tournament and compete, actually have gone into this tournament and made a meal out of it. I mean, they scored all the goals, they've kept all the clean sheets. They've been the team to actually look at it and go, wow, where have these guys been? England on the other side, always bringing it home, but the question is, will they get past the semi-finals? While we're looking at the last team involved, Denmark, they started the tournament on a tragic note with that heart attack for Christian Eriksen, and then they went on and made it such a beautiful tournament. I mean, I was watching the game start and I could see that the jersey they were flinging on the pitch had the Eriksen 10 on it. So, any thoughts before we take a break?
Look, I've lost all my favorites in this competition. All of them are gone, but I think one thing I've learned about Italy is that they're a very solid side, and I've been saying since I saw them playing the final league group stage game against Wales. It was a 1-0 win, but they played with the second team, and the second team still managed to keep the structure well. Although they didn't, manage to beat Wales, unjustifiably, but they did make sure that the structure was correct. Everything still looked like the Italy team. Although the names had changed, it still looked like Italy. So I'm impressed with the depth they have. I mean, like you're saying, we didn't look at them before, the tournament started. We did not look at them and say they are the favorites, or possible favorites at least. But I think they've proved themselves. And for me, they're definitely going to be England's highest or highest milestone to climb against, because if they do make it to the final, I do say that Italy will win it.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the clubs that have given the Euros the most players.
You are watching Supa TV, Open View, channel 150.
Welcome back to Mo Sports. We're talking all things Euro 2020, and you are at the right place if you want to know what's been going on and what you should be expecting now. Welcome to the show. My name is Mo, and I'm joined by the ever illustrious Mr. OB.KNOWS himself, our in-house sports analyst. And you're tuned into channel 150 on your open view decoder. It's called Supa TV, powered by Supa Bets. If you don't have an open view decoder, don't despair. You can watch us on Facebook or you can watch us on YouTube. It's as easy as going on that platform and searching for Supa TV. Now, let me give you the more riddle real quick. Test your footballing knowledge. See just how well you know football. I mean, if you've been watching the Bundesliga this season, this man was the talk of the town as soon as Lewandowski crossed 35 goals for the season. So this is the man. If you know who he is, the number is 071-621-4746. I think the start of the next segment, what we'll do is that we'll put your WhatsApps on the screen and see who has the right answer. Let's see your guesses. Let's see how well you think you know the game. But let's continue. I do think they have SMS Supa TV to 30978 by now. Have you SMS Supa TV to 30978? If you haven't, you definitely should, because that's the only way you can join us on the Supa Bets website. Now let's talk about the Euro 2020 now. We've talked about the international teams. We've talked about the squad depth. But the question was, which teams gave the Euros the most players? Meaning that which team, the squad was dismantled just for players to go on international duty for the Euros. This is not looking at the Copa America as well. We're just looking at the Euros here. And knows a couple of teams that I was actually shocked to see, because I thought to myself, Liverpool, always Thiago, Shaqiri, Henderson. Wijnaldum went, he's not even a Liverpool player anymore. Kabak also went, but he's not a Liverpool player anymore. So I thought to myself, which teams have given the Euros the most players? And funny enough, we start off with Atalanta. I didn't see Atalanta coming in there, OB.KNOWS.
Well, am I shocked? No. First, I'm not shocked.
I was.
Look at the names that are there. Rafael Toloi, of course, Italy. He's the second choice right back. Remo Freuler, he picked up a red card for Switzerland in the previous game. And there's the big name, Joachim Mailer for Denmark. I don't know if you saw the assist that he gave Kasper Dolberg yesterday. As you can see, Miranchuk is in there from Russia as well. Martin de Roon is in there. And Melinovsky, Ruslan Melinovsky there for Ukraine is in there as well. Pasalic was in there as well. And Robin Gosens, the man who has shined the most out of all these players. And interesting enough, Gosens and Mailer both playing on opposite flanks for Atalanta. So I think Atalanta might just be, they might be busy in terms of the transfer market. They might be trying to keep some people off their players. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They're a team that have built, they've built a squad out of nothing basically. Players that we didn't even know. Smart purchases. Very smart purchases. So I do think that it will be very difficult for them to let go of some of these players, especially the Gosens and the Mailers, because those are the pivotal pointers of attack. So I just have to say that throughout the past few seasons, they've managed to build the squad and they've built these players, and these players have shown, what they've also been learning from Gasperini in this tournament.
You know the saddest thing about it now is that Bayern Munich is not going to waste time. When they call a German, when Bayern Munich calls a German player, it's like going to play for the national team. It's like when Bayern Munich calls you German. There's no way you're going to say no.
Fun fact: Robin Gosens has never played in the Bundesliga before. Not even once.
Not even once.
Not even once.
When the phone rings and you see Bayern Munich on the screen, you must know it's too late. He's gone. He is gone. Let's talk about the next Italian side that makes it into this list. I mean, they've also donated 8 players. Now, before we put them on the screen, I just wanted to say that even Dinamo, Zagreb, and Spurs, Barcelona, Liverpool have all given 8 players. So at this point in time, let's go through the names that we have there from Napoli, because I was not convinced when I saw Napoli in this list. I'm like, who could Napoli give? But these are the players. Di Lorenzo is in there, Insigne is in there, Marat is in there, Dries Mertens. We're talking about Elmas is in there. Zelinski is also in there. These are players that we didn't quite spot throughout the season at Napoli, but they're very key players for the team altogether.
Yeah, I think Napoli had a very quiet season. I mean, with Gennaro Gattuso at the helm, they really did try and go for that, Champions League football. Unfortunately, missing out just by one spot. So, I wouldn't say they had a brilliant season overall as a club, but Insigne. Even my dad this morning, he's like, "Hey, that number 10, Italy." I'm like, "Yeah, Insigne. Insigne is a lot. He's a lot." I mean, they're very important players to this Italian squad, and some of them, I mean, Insigne as well, very, very important. I mean, he's actually the captain of Napoli as well. So,
of course.
we know how important he is to the club. So it's very good to see them bringing some of, their club form into international football, and it's really working out for Italy.
Now, let's move on to Tottenham Hotspur. Now, Tottenham Hotspur is a shocking side. They've given the Euros 8 players. But the shocking thing about it is they're not just any 8 players. I mean, they're very key players for all these sides. Ben Davies for Wales, very key player. I mean, Joe Rodon for Wales, another key player. Gareth Bale for Wales, another key player. We talk about Toby Alderweireld for Belgium. He played almost every second in this Euro. Pierre-Emerick Højbjerg for Denmark, a player that's now in the semi-finals. Harry Kane, a player that's also in the semi-finals for England. Hugo Lloris, the captain of France. And we're talking about Moussa Sissoko. Now, looking at the 8 players that Tottenham Hotspur was able to give to Euro 2020, these are quality players all around. Why is Tottenham not winning trophies?
Tottenham won't win trophies. As long as they still call Tottenham, they won't win trophies. But that's just the thing. I mean, I don't think... Look, I think Tottenham have struggled over the years. They've had the quality players. I mean, even Paul Gascoigne played for these guys, but still didn't win anything. Gaza. So hey, boy, they'll need.
You can't do that.
Boy, what must I say?
There's a Tottenham Hotspur fan sitting at home right now. He's just like, this guy doesn't respect. He took us all the way back to Gascoigne just to make a point. That's crazy. But let's go on. Let's talk about Barcelona as well, because Barcelona also gave in 8 players, and the first name on the list, very key name, Martin Braithwaite. That's the most important name in the list. We don't need to say anything else. Because out of all these players, I'm talking about your Frankie de Jongs out of the tournament, Sergio Busquets still in the tournament, Jordi Alba still in the tournament, Pedri still in the tournament, Clement Langley out, Antoine Griezmann out, Ousmane Dembele out. So what you're telling me is that only Busquets, Pedri, and Jordi Alba and Braithwaite are the only players in the semi-finals. Braithwaite is a key player, guys.
So what's your point, boy?
He's a key player
For who?
for whoever he is.
Boy, so good.
I mean, think about it, Obi knows. He's the name on this list, first
Yeah.
name on this list.
Yeah.
I mean, we gotta put some respect on Braithwaite's name.
I think we need to for the move that he had to make. I mean, it was of course it was a desperate move from Barcelona to bring in Martin Braithwaite. We actually saw it last season when they brought in Kevin Prince Boateng. We're like, you bring in Boateng, you know? So
Yeah.
they've been very desperate to try find a striker, you know, to at least fill in the boots there of the Luis Suarez, or and to play second fiddle to Suarez as well. But it's not really worked out for Braithwaite properly. It hasn't really properly worked out for him at Barcelona. But I must say that under Ronald Koeman, he didn't play a lot of games, but he was influential in some of the games he played, which is part of the reason why Denmark really had to call him in. I mean, despite the fact that he plays for Barcelona, he's supposed to be in there already. But because of the form that he showed when he was given the chance, he did deserve to be part of this Denmark squad.
So, super viewers at home, I just want to give you a little bit of research that I made just now. Now, if you want to win the Euros, any international trophy, go there with a pop number 9. Here's my reasoning. Calm down. Here's my reasoning. Spain don't have a number 9. Italy don't have a true out-and-out number 9. Denmark,
What?
they have Braithwaite. It's popness. All three of these teams have pop number 9.
But he's disrespecting Mobile, boy.
Okay,
That's
wait, hold
disrespect.
on. We're not talking about him. Mobile is not a big, tall number 9. Okay. He's not a Benzema. He's not a Lukaku.
Yeah, pretty much.
Where's Benzema and Lukaku now? They're home. They're watching the Euros like us. So what I'm saying is, maybe the secret to winning an international trophy is go there without a number 9. Go there with like number 10s and like a guy who will be a placeholder. Because Giroud, when Giroud was the number 9 in France, they managed to win some stuff. They won a World Cup.
They won everything but a Euro.
They won a World Cup.
They won a World Cup away. But this is
In
the
2012,
Euros.
Spain won this Euro without a number 9. Fabregas was playing number 9.
Boy, please relax.
So all I'm saying is, if England get knocked out with their hurricane, my theory is 100%. I'm writing a thesis. I'm going out there, I'm releasing it.
Before we leave Spain, this is the first time in history that Real Madrid have not given any player to any club, never mind Spain, to any country actually. So there's 0 Real Madrid players in the Euros.
Yeah.
0. Doesn't matter which country you're from.
But
what?
But Benzema is there, dog. You not respect Benzema like that.
It was them.
Toni Kroos is
Was
there.
them. You know what it
Modric
was?
is
You know what it was?
What?
It was the Google.
Eh?
The Google.
The Google light.
The Google lie. The Google lie.
You know what this is? It's
I
when
was ready. I even put it in there.
It's when you Google. It's when you Google what you call symptoms.
Read.
I
the-
just sneezed.
read-
You're dying. That's
read
what
the
Google will
shandies-
tell you.
Read the shandies you sent to me. It says 0 Real Madrid players.
Maybe in the
Spain.
knockout phases.
No,
Maybe in the knockout
Spain.
phase. For Spain, yeah. For Spain, they haven't. I mean, for everywhere else, yes, they have. But look at all the players they've donated. Where are they now? Toni Kroos is out. Modric is out. Benzema is out.
There's no one.
Varane is
Actually.
out.
There's actually no one.
It's hard for guys. We're getting carried away. Okay, let's cover the key other teams in the top 10. We'll skip Liverpool. We'll talk about Inter Milan. We'll also skip Leipzig. We'll talk about Inter Milan. They also put in some really good names there. Notably, they donated Romelu Lukaku to this tournament, including Ivan Perisic, Stefan de Vrij. That's just a few of them, and Christian Eriksen, of course. But in the top 2, now we're talking about teams that donated more than 10 players. Now we're talking about the gist of it. We're talking about Borussia Mönchengladbach having given 10 players to the Euros. Now that's shocking. And then on top of that, Borussia Dortmund also giving 10 players to the tournament. And you know who those 10 players are. Jude Bellingham is in there, Guerrero is in there, Emre Can is in there, Matt Hummels, Jadon Sancho, Jude Bellingham, Tilgen Hazard, Thomas Meunier. It's shocking how when it comes to the Euros, the big names are not really the teams that we look for the players. But let's carry on. Manchester United giving in 11 players. Another team that we didn't expect to see in this list, sitting so high up. And then there is Juventus giving out 12. And then scrolling all the way down, 12. Obi knows I passed a very important team. Where's Ukraine? Where's Ukraine?
Past
There
Ukraine.
it is, Dynamo Kiev. Guys, Dynamo Kiev donated 11 players to the Euros. And all 11 players are featuring for the Ukraine. All 11 of them are featuring for the Ukraine.
See, also you guys, not all.
Yeah?
There's only one there who's representing Poland, but how far is Poland from
Neighbors.
from
boy.
the neighbors, ne?
The thing is,
Are you sure?
10 players, Obi knows, Dynamo Kiev has donated to their national side. This is a successful team in the local context because they're able to give you players that actually went into a tournament, and look at where Ukraine got knocked out.
It's something that we spoke about at the beginning, but we spoke about the Czech Republic You know, we mentioned Slavia Prague, the team
Yeah.
that has given, although they didn't give all the players that are currently there, but majority of those players have played for Slavia Prague over the years, and they made moves outside of the country after playing for Slavia Prague. So pretty much the same thing with Dynamo Kiev. You know, like I've been saying with Bafana Bafana, if you get the Kaizer Chiefs team playing well, if you get Pirates playing well, you know, you're feeding the national team these players, you know, and that's exactly what we're seeing with Dynamo Kiev. They're playing in the Champions League season out, and they're giving, you know, they still got these players giving them out to the national team. So I do think that, you know, having a powerhouse in your country, playing as a powerhouse and being a dominant side, having the best players. Once you have those best players in the national team, you create a core that is familiar with one another, you know, and you build around, you build everyone else around, you know, this core that you have. And I think they've done brilliantly by doing that.
All right, the top two teams are the two teams that found themselves in the UEFA Champions League finals. We're talking about Man City and our director's very own Chelsea. They gave each 15 players into the tournament now. Those are two notable sides because those are two teams that are contesting the Champions League title, showing yet again that the UEFA Champions League does really dominate European football. Whoever is dominating the UEFA Champions League usually goes on to dominate in international competitions and with international teams as well. So it's time for us to go talk about Copa America. Enough with the Euros. Copa America, OB.KNOWS, talk to me about this thing, because at this point in time, my nephews wake me up this morning. They're like, yo, dude, listen, do you know that Argentina beat Brazil last night?
What?
They're small. These guys are in high school. They're walking around. I woke up first. I'm like, where now? Who did that? They're like, Messi was on fire. I'm like, Messi who? Messi who? On fire how? They're like, no, Brazil is out. I'm like, you boys are lying to me, man. So I want to confirm what these boys are saying. Can we go to the website, please? Guys, SMS Supa TV to 30978 before your kids or your nephews have you also on the road when you wake up. Let's go. It was a whole nightmare. Let's go find out. These kids, they played me this morning. Let's find out. Let's go to international. Let's go to Copa America. There it is. You passed it. These boys, dude. Last in the morning, I'm like, good morning. Have you guys eaten? They're like, Brazil is out.
I'll tell you a story,
They're like, Brazil is out. I'm like, Anjan, it's like, out. As you can see, on the 6th of this month, the quarterfinals ended up like this. Peru beat Paraguay, Brazil beat Chile, while Colombia beat Uruguay. That means Uruguay is now out. One of the teams that I consider to be maybe one of the contenders. Yeah. Argentina still in there against Ecuador. They beat Ecuador. Semifinals. Let's go see who's who in the zoo. So as you can see, Brazil and Peru are going to be taking it head-to-head on the 6th of July. On the 7th of July at 3 a.m., so when brooms are flying in Mzansi, that's when Argentina will be facing Colombia. So now the thing is, in our heads, everybody is thinking that Brazil's going to face Argentina here. But do you know Argentina, you? Do you know that Argentina can mess this one up right here? Right here. Before we go any further, they might just let this one drop. But Obino, talk to me before we take a break.
Come back to your little cousins.
Yeah.
Your little cousin reminds me of myself. Bro.
Yeah.
So the first time I saw a PlayStation, they were playing FIFA. My boys were playing FIFA. And on FIFA, it was FIFA 05.
Yeah.
There was no Sundowns as yet.
Yeah.
They were playing with Brazil. And you know Brazil, they were like Sundowns.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Sundowns, you know? The shock of my life, bro. I didn't know Brazil at the time, so I do understand, you know, they saw Ecuador's colors. They saw the yellow and the blue, and they thought it was Brazil.
These boys.
I'll give them that.
Guys, you understand that I research football for a living, and these boys wake me up on that note. I was stressed. It's like, but how did I not see this coming? Why did I not know this game was taking place?
Exactly.
I'm like, there's no way, isn't that, what? They're like, last night, it is late. It's over. They're out. Neymar, Firmino, I'm like, these boys of mine have me. Let me on the ropes, but let's wait and see. Do you think that Argentina won't be in this final? I think the question of Brazil is a question that I would like to pose, but it's quite obvious. Do you think
I'll stay with what I've been saying. I mean, I did say that I counted both Colombia and Argentina out a long time ago. And for them to actually be at the final, I wouldn't lie, I'm shocked. I'm pretty shocked that. In fact, I thought Uruguay stood a much better chance than Colombia did in winning this, competition. So I'm shocked to see both teams where they are. You know, of course, Lionel Messi giving a masterclass last night, scoring a free kick, beautiful free kick once again. But look, I do think Brazil still have it. Argentina will make it into the final, but I do think Brazil still have it.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation and let's look at world football and make our bet slips. We'll be right back.
You are watching Supa TV, Open View, channel 150. instant games 24/7 on superbet.co.za. When you SMS Super TV to 30978. Super TV, Open View, channel 150.
Welcome back to Mo Sports Now. It's been a very interesting time in world football. Copa America, Euro have both been taking place, and now they're at the pivotal stage, which is the semi-finals of each of these tournaments. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, I just want to remind you of the Mo riddle, because it's about to get tricky now, because we're tired of this international football. It's time for us to look at some club facts. So let's give you the Mo riddle. This guy was mentioned just recently after Robert Lewandowski broke his record. Now, if you know who he is, the number is 071-621-4746. In fact, do we have any WhatsApps at this moment in time of people who submitted their answers, so we can see if anyone is close to the answer at this moment in time? Let's just wait and see if we do have anybody. Don't forget the number is 071-621-4746. And this is your opportunity to see that if you maybe submitted the right answer. So OB.KNOWS is waiting in anticipation to see if there's an answer that has been submitted. Do you think anyone submitted the right answer?
Maybe. If they watch Mo Sports Gang, then they know. They know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know.
If you watch Mo Sports every now and again, you will definitely know who this is. But if you don't know, we don't blame you. I mean, we try to bring it down a little bit. This weekend,
you call this bringing it down?
This is bringing it down. It's a very easy, more riddle answer to it. Lewandowski broke his record just now in the league.
Okay, cool.
All right, there it is. So let's see. Someone's saying it's Gerd Muller, Sir Trevor in Zim. So Sir Trevor already. Hashtag Pino, welcome back to Mo Sports. He said Gerd Muller as well. Now, are these the answers that we think are correct, OB.KNOWS? We don't need to say yes or no. Just, Oh, wait. What about we used to do this when we were playing games. But she's not.
Bahot. Yeah, bahot.
It's Amperda. No, okay, hashtag Pino. Guys, we see your answers. Just stay tuned to the end of the show so we can see if that's the correct answer or not. So it's time for us, OB.KNOWS, to discuss the Premier League season. I was looking at the Premier League is coming back in August. I'm talking about like the 13th or 14th of August. And I was looking at the fixtures that are coming up in that league. Now, Chelsea look like they might have a terrible start. Arsenal look like they might have a very bad start. But Crystal Palace, OB.KNOWS, I'm worried about them.
Look, Crystal Palace.
Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal.
Crystal Palace.
West Ham.
You know who's the coach now? It's Patrick Vieira. You know what I'm saying? Patrick Vieira's the coach, right?
Yeah.
There was a couple of days when you were gone. And I made mention about the fact that Nuno was, looking for the job at Palace. And I had to do my research and why would he want to go to Crystal Palace? And it looked like something that a crazy manager would do. I would give that type of task to someone like Pep Guardiola. I would never put it beneath Pep Guardiola to do something like that. There's 10 players at Crystal Palace, and I'm looking at these 10 players. These are possibly the Gary Cahills, these are the Bentekes, the Patrick Van Aanholt, quality first-team players at Crystal Palace. 10 of them are out of contract at the end of the season. Well, they are out of contract since, of course, July started. So you're going into a team that doesn't have a starting 11. You're going to create a whole new team in the EPL. After a pandemic, we're not going to have a lot of time for preseason as well. What is Nuno going to do there? What is Patrick Vieira going to do there? No EPL experience at all. I don't see Crystal Palace, actually surviving this coming season. They only have Wilfried Zaha. Only Wilfried Zaha is there.
But OB.KNOWS, it's very hard because when you look at the context of English football at this moment in time, coaches have been crying about one thing. There is no color in the coaching space. There is no color in the coaching space.
Okay.
Now, the moment that Patrick Vieira goes in there, he has to represent a whole class of people. It's not just about him. It's not just about Crystal Palace. It's about a whole class of coaches. We had a couple of coaches in that. I remember Ince was in there as well, coaching as a coach of color in the Premier League. And everybody was looking at him like, what can he achieve? Can he win anything? And he left without winning any trophies. And now we have Nuno Espirito Santo, who's somewhat a coach of color, looking at the 10 on the right day. But Patrick Vieira is going to go in there, and that's something that Clarence Seedorf was crying about. Clarence Seedorf went to AC Milan, didn't have a bad season, you did say yourself. Yeah. When he left, you were saying, but there's no opportunities for coaches of color in Europe. So let's go look at this Crystal Palace that Patrick Vieira is going to be coaching next season. Now, to the website we go. Don't forget to SMS Super TV to 30978. OB.KNOWS soccer. He's going to love doing this. Europe.
We're back.
England. It's such a warm feeling to go back to doing this. Don't you feel warm and fuzzy inside? Here it is. This is how the new season looks like. Before we go to ahead of ourselves, for our Arsenal fans, congratulations, sitting top of the table at this moment in time. Hola, Aston Villa in second with Brentford in third. Brighton, Burnley, and Chelsea wrapping up that top 7. And as you can see, Crystal Palace, Everton, Leeds, Leicester City, Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Newcastle, Norwich, Southampton.
Why Norwich is in small caps?
Because you know they're back. I'm kidding. I don't know. We'll deal with that now. But OB knows. Let's talk about the clubs that have made it back into the top flight. We're talking about Watford there. We're talking about Norwich City. Two sides that are now back in the top game. They're going to be happy. But the most notable name is that name right there, Brentford. They haven't been here in a while. It's going to be a very interesting season for them. They're playing with the big boys finally after a long stint outside of the Premier League. But looking at the context of the Premier League right now, we're looking at an Arsenal that has Mikel Arteta at the helm, Aston Villa that has had Jack Grealish pulling all the strings, a Brighton of Albion that have come into their own. We're talking about a Burnley side that have, under Sean Dyche, have become one of the mainstays in the Premier League in recent times. A Chelsea side that are now the champions of Europe, deservedly so. Crystal Palace, that's the team we're talking about. Let's go in there and let's see the players that we are talking about just now. We're dropping even the anticipation. Let's go. Let's go down.
I wonder if they have the players.
Yeah, so there we go. Let's scroll up. Let's go to the games that they're going to be playing. Go up. So this is how they start off the season. Match day 1, they face Chelsea. Match day 2, they face Brentford. Match day 3, West Ham. Match day 4, Tottenham Hotspur. Match day 5, Liverpool. Match day 6, Brighton, home Albion. Guys, I thought to myself, I was like, who has a worse start than Crystal Palace? We're still going to research and find that out for you. I think even Brentford, after playing Chelsea, don't forget, they're the team that has to play them and then go on and play the Community Shield, if I'm not mistaken, and the Super Cup. And they played the Super Cup 2 seasons in a row. Yeah, FIFA Super Cup. So they also have the FIFA Club World Cup to worry about. They don't want to worry about this Crystal Palace side. Let's go down and see the players that are here. Now, the thing is that what I like about the situation right now, they might be losing out on a lot of players, but looking at the date of birth, there's a lot of 2000 in there. We see Nathan Ferguson is a 2000. We see Reese Hannum is also a 2000. We're looking at Michelle as well. OB knows, it's at least there's some young talent.
Who are these players, boy?
They're coming in, development.
You know, Martin Kelly, we know him
from Liverpool.
Come on, what is he still doing? What is he still doing there? We've got Tompkins, boy. Look at this team.
Let's put the website away. Let's hear OB knows complaining about this team. OB knows at least they still have Jordan Ayew.
But you can't make that at least. But look, Benteke is there, Benteke. But still, look, this squad, they don't have a core team. They don't have the first 11. That's what I'm saying. They're building a brand new team here at Crystal Palace, and that's a big problem. Do they firstly have the money to spend because they let these players go out for free? Yes, the contracts expired, so they didn't get any income from the season. They brought in Eberechi as the biggest signing they've ever done last season, and he proved to be a pivotal player. He's gonna struggle.
I hear you crying. All I'm hoping for is you see that guy Milivojevic.
But if he leaves, it's shy, boy.
That's what I'm thinking to myself.
Then they only have Kuyate. Then
we just need to sign Milivojevic. Wherever he is. I think Chelsea might sign Milivojevic, but Milivojevic, he's the only standout player from the side for the longest time. Crystal Palace, the only reason I watch Crystal Palace sometimes is because of Milivojevic. Everybody else...
Only does kick a penalty.
I know he does kick, but honestly, the way he plays in the midfield, to be in such a terrible side and still be a quality player, it says a lot about him. I just feel like he's being wasted at Crystal Palace, and please, Patrick, sell him to Liverpool. Or Arsenal, because you're a legend. But sell him. Sell him to someone.
But it's shy for Palace.
All right, let's go to the answer for the Mo riddle. So if you don't know who the answer is, I'm worried about you, because at this point in time, he shares a name with a current Bayern Munich player. He held the record that was broken by a current Bayern Munich player. His name is Gerd Müller.
Yeah, had to pick the latest one, boy. Had to pick the latest
I like how his shirt says GM, like general manager,
but Gerd
Müller. This man's got 40 goals in one season.
Yeah.
398 goals for Bayern.
I'll tell you about someone else, though.
Yeah.
Lewandowski.
Okay, let's end the show, because OB knows being young again. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow at 2 p.m. here on channel 150 on your open view code at Supa TV, powered by Super Bets.
Get all the support you need at superbets.co.za. Register now. SMS Super TV to 30978. Super TV, Open View, channel 150. Get all the support you need at superbets.co.za. Register now. SMS Super TV to 30978. Super TV, OpenView, channel 150.